G'day, how you doing? Adam here from Poseidon Racing with another Zed Run update. Hope your day's going well. I've been down the beach. I've probably still got a bit of sunscreen all over my face. Now the professor, he's back in his closet for a day or two, but if you guys enjoyed the video from the professor last time around, leave me a comment below and let me know that you want to see the professor again instead of boring old me. But anyway, we've got a slightly more serious update, I suppose, and it's to do with the value, or in my opinion, the lack of value in the Genesis female horses. I feel there's a real imbalance there, and I want to go over that. So if you have Genesis mares or are thinking about buying Genesis horses, you're going to want to watch this because there are some interesting subtleties in the difference between the males and the females that, in my opinion, makes the males currently, if nothing else has changed, makes the males significantly more valuable and significantly more relevant within the game. So let's jump in and have a bit of a look at that. Now the reason for that, let's compare. Now this filters right down through from Z1 to Z10. All the Genesis horse types it will affect. Now, in my opinion, it affects more so the Z1 mares than, for example, how it does affect the Z10 mares. It's very similar, but it's just really the price value, because at the moment the Z1 males and the Z1 females are both going for roughly the same price, somewhere between $1,500 and say $2,500 depending on what kind of deal you get and what kind of talent that horse has. But there doesn't seem to be too much variance currently between the price level of males and females. However, as I said, I believe there's a huge difference in the value or the relevance that you're getting from buying a male as opposed to a female. Now, some will disagree with this, and I'm not trying to bump up the value of my stallions because I have got more males than females in my stables, but I do have three. My brother and myself are both in this together, and between us we have three Z1 females. So this is a concern for those females and everyone else who has a bunch of females within their stables. Now let's compare Z1 male versus Z1 female. Now on a racing level, they're exactly the same. You're going to get some good ones, some not so good ones, but on average they should be exactly the same. At least that's my understanding of how this currently works. Now, with those Z1s, I think the Genesis horses, there's 38,000, I think it's 36 or 38,000 in total ever to be released. And of those, a very small percentage are going to be Z1. I think it's 1,000 Z1s to be ever released. 500 males, 500 females. So there's equal males to females. Okay, so on that level, they are equal. Now, when it comes to breeding, that's where most of the relevance and most of the value, in my opinion, stays with or goes to the male Genesis horses. Now, first off, the males can have 7 breeds per month. Every 30 odd days, 31 days, they get 7 offspring, whereas the female only get 2. Now that's fine, and some would argue that because the females only get 2, well actually I'll get into that in a minute. There is some value that you could argue stays with the females based on the breeding as well. Now initially you've got the 7 for the males, 2 versus the females, which I think gives a bit of a tick to the males. Okay? Now, the other tick that goes to the males is the fact that you can put them in the public stud market and get a commission every time somebody breeds with one of your horses. Now, if you put in a horse, the minimum fee that you can currently charge for a Z1 horse, male, in the public stud farm is 0.09 Ethereum. What's that? It's roughly about $50 US. And depending on how you put that in for how many days, I think the commission fee is roughly 45%. So what's that going to give you? Just under half, probably about 22, 23 US dollars per breed at the minimum. Something like that. Don't trust my math. I always make mistakes, so do the math yourself and do your own research, okay? So the males get the benefit of the fact that you can put them in the public stud farm and earn essentially yield from them, earn a percentage from them each month. Now, obviously, you want good males, good studs, or no one will breed with them. Okay, but if you can get a stud that's a good racer, then you'll be earning a nice little monthly dividend. Now, the females on the other side of the scale, you can't currently put them in the public breeding arena. Just the males go in there, and you have to have females within your own stable, and this is where some of the value lies with the females. You need to have a female to be able to breed with those great males and produce your own offspring. Okay, so at that level, the females do become valuable. And to some degree, some people would argue the fact that because the males can have 7 and the females can only have 2 offspring per month, then the females are going to get significantly more valuable because you're going to need 3 to 4 of them to balance out your one good male per month. Okay, to take advantage of the 7 that your male can produce, you're going to need 3.5 females to produce those 7 offspring. But this is where the big but comes. If that's where the value of the females lies, it diminishes really, really quickly as you start to breed and go down through that breeding cycle and begin to produce really talented, legendary horses, which is the next level down. So let's talk about that for a minute. So let's say, for example, that you could only ever breed Genesis to Genesis and you couldn't breed any other style of horse. As you go down through the breeding types, it goes Genesis, Legendary, Exclusive, Elite, something. Genesis, Legendary, Exclusive, Elite, Cross Pacer, I believe, or Pacer Cross, one of those. I think it's Cross Pacer. Now, let's assume for a moment that you could only ever breed with Genesis. Only Genesis horses could produce offspring, and the other ones were just purely racers. Now, if that was the case, racers, not racist. Now, if that was the case, you would see some value in the females because of that ratio between 7 to 2. So you would need more females to produce more offspring with that one male. But because of the fact that legendaries can breed, and you can have some great legendaries as well, and apparently we've been told by the developers of the game that you can progress as you breed and produce stronger, faster, better horses as you get further down the line. That makes that ratio of 7 to 2 somewhat irrelevant because you can have that one great stud, and if you don't have enough Genesis females to breed, you will breed with your best legendaries or your best exclusives. And that's how the game progresses anyway. So that's where you start losing the relevance of those female Z1s. Now, not only that, there is also an issue or a significant advantage to the males within the entire breeding process. Let me jump over and change screens here and show you what I'm talking about. Okay, now another advantage of the males versus females is this breeding chart here, where it shows us how we come down through the different breed types. Now, what you probably can't see because the writing is too small is here we have F for female and here is M for male, meaning that they're all males, they're all females. And as we work through this chart, you'll see that if we breed with a Genesis female and a Genesis male, we get a legendary. It stops right here on that box. Now, if we breed that, let's say we got a mare, a legendary mare here, and it doesn't really matter at this point, but if we breed that with a Genesis male, you will see we get an exclusive. And this is where it becomes interesting. If we have an exclusive female after that breed point, and we breed with a Genesis mare, you can see as we come down here, the offspring stays exclusive. All right? And this is where the big value to the males exists and the irrelevance to some degree for the females exists. if we have the same thing, if we have a male exclusive, and it's only the second generation in, so the first generation in is Genesis to Genesis, which equals legendary. And then when you breed that legendary, you're going to get an exclusive no matter what. Well, not no matter what. If you breed with a cross or a pacer, well, that's your own fault. You're going to end up with the lower breed type of that combination. But if you breed with a higher breed, so breed a legendary with a Genesis, you're going to breed, or even breed a legendary with a legendary, you will end up with an exclusive. Okay, and there's no way of holding the breed type at legendary at all, the same as there is no way of holding the breed type at Genesis. Okay, so the only way you get Genesis is if the game itself produces the horse, and then the only way you get legendary is if two Genesis breed together. Now we're at exclusive, and there is a way to hold at exclusive. And you can see that if we breed down here, let me just back this back and clean this up a little bit. Let's come back to here. As we said, if we've got a female exclusive, it's got some talent, it's a really good one. So we want to breed it with a male Genesis. There we go there. Female exclusive. We end up with an offspring that stays on that same level of exclusive. Now if we back that back, and we have the male exclusive, as my phone starts ringing. It's me brother, me Zed Run partner. I'll talk to him later. All right, if we have the male exclusive, you can see that if we breed with a female Genesis, remember when we bred with a male Genesis, it held at exclusive. Look what happens here. All right, breed with any horse, a male exclusive, the best you can hope for is an elite. See, elite, 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 and then as we breed lower, it goes cross, cross, pacer. So you're going to degrade the breed type. If you have an exclusive male, you're going to degrade the breed type regardless of who you breed with. So the female Genesis does not have the power to hold the breed type at the exclusive level, which makes them much more irrelevant in the game because look at this. If I breed a cheap old legendary horse, female, right there, okay, and I breed it with my exclusive male, guess what? Same thing happens. It goes to elite. In fact, if we even come one further down and we breed exclusive with our exclusive, we still get elite. Okay, so that's not great at all, because that's basically within the breeding cycle, the females are no more valuable or no more relevant than a cheap old legendary that we've bred for $50 essentially, 0.09 Ethereum. Whereas your Genesis Z1 horse, and I've bought 3, as I said, I'm not trying to pump up the prices of my males. I'm trying to defend and find a way to give those females some relevance within the game. Because currently the problem is, okay, as racers, they are just as good and just as important. As Genesis breeders at this level, well, you need males and females to produce offspring. I don't need to tell you that. Mum and dad, birds and the bees, right? You need a male and a female to produce the first offspring, and that will produce legendaries. But once you have that legendary, that female Genesis horse is now no longer any more relevant than that legendary that was just born, in my opinion. I can't see why the Genesis females should be going for the same value as the males, and hence why within my own stable, my own investment, I've probably got 80 to 20%, 80% males to 20% females, something like that. And even on that level, I am scared that I'm too heavy on the females, that I've got that 3's too many, and maybe 1 or 2 might have been enough. But what I want to see, and how we can change this and bring their relevance closer to what the males are, is by allowing them to have some sort of power trait within the breeding, because currently they don't have any power trait. They're exactly the same breeders as the legendary females. Okay, if we look here, if we compare this horse and this horse as it breeds, okay, if you breed a legendary, well, Genesis, you get that legendary. All right, that's the only minor benefit, but as I said, you need a male and female to produce the first offspring. That's obvious within the gaming system. But once we go beyond that and get to this line here, you can see exclusive, exclusive, elite, elite, cross, 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 pacer, pacer. There is no power trait to the Genesis horse other than being able to produce the first offspring with the male Genesis. All right, so the way that this needs to potentially give value back to the females, the way I see it, and I've mentioned this before in a video, and hopefully something gets done here, but what we need to do, or what I think needs to be done to raise that value, or otherwise, look, I don't mind at all, to be honest, if it doesn't change. But what you're going to see is a massive divide between the male Z1s and the female Z1s. You're going to see the males in the future going for $5,000 and $10,000. Fingers crossed, hopefully. I'm not a fortune teller, but I can see a future when that comes. And what you will see is the females stay pretty much stagnant at around, who knows, $1,500, $1,000, or maybe even less, because currently I see them becoming less and less relevant as more and more talented legendaries enter the market. So the more talented legendaries there are, the less relevant those Z1 females become, and their price is probably going to depreciate rather than appreciate. Well, in the current way the game is set up. Now, I don't want that to happen. I would like my females to appreciate at the same rate as the males. How could we do that? We need to give them a power trait in the breeding. We can see the males have a power trait whereby this box here, they can hold the breed from exclusive female to Genesis male. They can maintain the exclusive level. Now, as I said before, if we look at the same thing, but with an exclusive male and a Genesis female, currently it's degrading the breed type to elite. Okay, so the simple way around this would be to give the females the same level of power traits in breeding as the male Genesis have, and that would be to be able to hold the exclusive level here. So that would change this one to exclusive, this one would change to elite. Cross is already good and pacer is already good, okay? So it would just be a case of changing those two, and then they would have the same power traits within breeding as the males. Or if we want to make it exciting and something really interesting, and this is the one that I would like to change, I would like to see a dynamic where the females have the power trait to hold the breed level at legendary. So if we change this here to legend, okay, why did I write? I'm copying, so Z team, I'm copying your error there. Legend. Okay. Now that would give them a kind of a separation point between the males and the females, because if the males, as you can see, would degrade the breed type at the legendary level down to exclusive, but then they would have the power to hold the breed type at the exclusive level here, and then the females could potentially have the power to hold the breed type at the legendary level, but then they would degrade the breed type from then on, or at least for the next couple of breeds down. That would be a really interesting dynamic, and that alone would raise the value of those females and keep them relevant within the overall ecosystem, even as the really talented legendaries begin to flood the market. Okay? It's something that I'm really concerned about. It's something that I don't want to see happen, is those Genesis females become less and less relevant over the next 3, 6, 12 months. I want them to be just as relevant and just as valuable as those males as we move forward. Let me know in the comments if you agree with me. It's one solution that I think would work really, really well. I look forward to seeing you next time around. Thanks again, and be nice on the forum, eh? Take care. Bye for now.